Angry guy here, and a woman says men making $50,000 a year are broke boys who shouldn't date. A woman says that men making $50,000 a year are broke boys who shouldn't date. So, this is a video that I saw recently, and it's interesting. This is a fake dating guru who's basically saying that men who make $50,000 a year are not qualified to date women. And this is just another example and reason why men are walking away from Western society, relationships in Western society, and choosing not to have anything to do with modern day dating. Let's jump into the video.
This woman's comments are currently going viral all over social media. You'll see in this post right here, it has 25 million views. Shout out to my Instagram at TheRealMTR. Thank you for sending this content over. Let's review.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you when
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs.
Okay.
You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make 50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have the expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts, because eventually you're gonna wanna run. Because she doesn't stretch you, she doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be this stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up.
I'm
You
just
talk about
saying.
me.
So my initial thought is that it's always the most average looking women that get up on these podcasts and say the most outlandish things. There's some truth in the things that she was saying, but she stretched it with a lot of her modern woman experience. And when I use the word stretch, I'm using that very intentionally, because it's all too often the same women that have to stretch the seams or stretch the threads out of the dresses that they wear that have such a high expectation for men. The interesting thing is that if I was to have my own podcast where one of the talking points were derived from the idea that no woman should be over a certain body mass index to be dating. I often find these comments that have heavy expectations on men without looking internally to fix yourself as the most egregious. But let's play it again because I wanted to go bar for bar.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
I don't agree with that. You can absolutely date. It's how you structure things in your life as you're building on your path. Fact of the matter is that the average worker is making somewhere between $45,000 and $55,000 per year. So to relegate all those people to not dating is absolutely absurd. But if you're making $50,000 a year and you want more within your life and you're currently drinking yourself on your Friday nights, smoking on your Saturday nights, addicted to video games or the overconsumption of that, addicted to the hub, and on top of that, you're trying to date as well, then yes, you should not be dating because you have some things in yourself that you have to fix before you can present yourself wholly and truly to someone else to get the best options back. But if you're making $50,000 per year, engrossed in a job and an occupation that you are satisfied with, you're not living in an extremely high cost of living city, and you are happy within your life, then you can absolutely date. I actually remember talking to a young brother a few years back on one of my live streams, and he's currently married at the time. And one of the questions that I asked him is, hey bro, how did you know that she was the right one for you? And his response was something that I will forever remember. And what he said is that, well, she was with me when I was at my lowest point. She stayed true. She rode out with me and she inspired me to become better. The majority of these women only want you once you cross the finish line, because it's easy to like and or love you when the times are good, whenever they can maximize the squeeze out of you. But oftentimes women like that one are really quick to leave if you were to fall on hard times. Lego.
Again, I'm with you when
You're not ready to. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually,
How many of those 22 walks have you actually been on? It appears you have some catching up to do.
shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make 50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money.
There's a component of what
Now, I want to talk about this because something interesting. She says, if this is who you are, get you a bottom of the barrel mujeres, so woman, and and that's where you belong. Here's something intriguing. So what this woman is actually saying, she's actually, for example, men are going overseas and they are getting women overseas. The passport kings are going overseas, they're finding wives overseas, they're putting down roots overseas. So this woman is calling women who are overseas bottom of the barrel. I want you to think about this. They are calling these women bottom of the barrel. These women overseas are getting into relationships with men who are giving them a roof over their heads, a nice place to live, a stable life, children. Some of these guys are purchasing vehicles, and they're giving them a great life, a good overall life. They have food on the table, and these women are content with that. And she's saying that these women are bottom of the barrel for accepting this. They're bottom of the barrel for accepting a man who could only provide them with a roof over their head, furnishings, food on the table, be an active parent, and and protection, money in their pocket. So they have pretty much everything they need and most of the things that a normal person would want. But these women are bottom of the barrel. Listen to the words coming out of this woman's mouth. She does not know, nor does she care, all the people that she is offending, all the women that she's offending. A point that this guy made also is that a lot of these women, some women, they were with these guys when they had nothing, and that's why the guys stay with them. They're like, she was with me at my lowest, so I want her to be with me at my best. This woman is literally saying that women who are with you at your lowest are bottom of the barrel women, because only a bottom of the barrel woman would be with a man when he's at his lowest. Any woman of value is waiting for the man at the finish line. And the reason why a woman like this can say the things that she's saying is because of social media and the simps, and there are a million simps in her DMs telling her that she's beautiful, brave, special, and everything else. And she knows at any given moment she can hop into the DMs and pull a simp out, and there's a simp that is more than happy to become physically intimate with her and give her money and praise. And she has a bunch of these beta males that are orbiting her. And it's because of this attitude. And then, of course, she's on social media, and there are a bunch of women that are like, yas, queen, yas, yas. I'm tired of these broke boys too. A lot of these women also don't have any, they are so far disconnected from reality that they can't even look at the bigger picture. It's literally laziness. It is literal laziness. A woman says, how much money do you make? Guy says $50,000. She says, miss me with that. Goodbye. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me. Right? And then she moves on to the next one. She meets a guy. He's making, let's say, $150,000 a year. She's like, okay, you can talk to me. Right? And some girls, a lot of women, they don't even want 150. They want more. She's like, okay, you can speak to me. He's making $150,000 a year. But how did he get there? Well, he's a physician. He's working as a doctor. And he's making $150,000 a year. However, he has $400,000 in student loan debt. Yeah. Making $150,000 a year, $400,000 in student loan debt. After taxes are paid, he's maybe at what, like 115, 120 if he's lucky. And after he pays for student loans, that's taking like $20,000 or more out of his salary. Let's say 25, 2,500. Let's say, he's left with maybe $90,000 if he's lucky. And then on top of that, he has other expenses, other bills, rents costing him around, $3,500 a month. I mean, so really, after all is said and done, this guy barely has maybe $40,000 in disposable income a year, and that's not counting food expenses for food and a variety of other things. And he also has no free time because he's working 16-hour days. And then you have a guy who makes $50,000 a year, but he has almost $200,000 in between savings and investments. His house is paid for. He owns his own home. He owns his car. He works remotely. So he lives an overall carefree life. He's a person who is around whenever you need him. Whenever you need him, he's there. He can be available whenever. Okay? He has his life completely structured how he wants it. He can work from anywhere in the world. He can travel at a moment's notice. He can eat whatever he wants. He has tons of disposable income. I have a lot of these guys who basically live this life, and they say to me, basically, all of their money is they're just using it for gambling at this point. It goes straight into the stock market or cryptocurrency, and they don't care if it all goes to zero, because they have so much disposable income. They have so much money tucked away in the banks and other investments, and in secure investments, and they have no real living expenses because they own their own home, they own their car, and they're not. And then their monthly food bill is like $1,000 or less. You've got some dudes that are just their monthly food bill is literally just a couple $100s, and as a result of, and they have everything they need. Most men will wear the same clothes for the rest for 10 years. And it doesn't make any sense. Why would you buy brand new clothes constantly? Wash your clothes. You wash your clothes and that's it. And once you have your gaming laptop and whatever else you want, those are one-time purchases. And a lot of guys are getting their games off Steam these days. You basically don't have a lot of expenses. I mean, once these one-time purchases are made, most men don't have a lot of things to spend money on. It's the truth. I mean, what? You're going to spend $2,000 a year on video games? I just mentioned Steam. I have a Steam Deck now, and it's like after going to Steam Deck, like I refuse to purchase a PlayStation 5. Like Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming out, and I will not purchase a PlayStation 5 just to play that game. I'm playing through Final Fantasy Remake. It took so many years before I was able to get to it, but I'm playing it on my Steam Deck, and it's good. And it's like I'm busy with other things. I'm busy making content for you guys. I'm busy working on the courses and everything else. So I don't have a lot of time for that. And being able to just grab the Steam Deck sometimes, play my games, and guys, they're dirt cheap. Like I'm telling you right now. And it's like, I'm recording this. I'm making this video on my MacBook M1. I have another MacBook. I have a MacBook Pro that I'm just looking at, and just upgraded it to the latest OS. And it's kind of crazy, I've got all these professional, because you have to invest in your business. I've got all of these professional devices. I've got 3 different cell phones, all on different wireless plans. I've got one on Mint Mobile, 2 on Metro, and it's like, I don't know. I've got plenty, I've got disposable income in the bank, working on my crypto portfolio, looking at different stocks. I don't know, man. I can eat whatever I want. I don't have to. There's not a single day where I wake up now and I think, oh gosh, there's something that I want to eat and I can't afford it. Like there's something that I still try to save money, and once I've relocated, I'll go back to just preparing all of my own meals again. I love steak, and I like making brisket and stuff like that. So once I'm in a more comfortable place, I'll be doing that again. And it's like, why would I trade this life for the stress of a relationship and dating, especially a bad attitude. You know, women are completely blind. It's like they're blind to reality. You know, they're putting down these men saying they don't even understand that you have to assess a man different, like for a variety of different things. You don't know how much money this man has in his savings. There was a video. There was a video with a police officer, and this dude was disrespecting this police officer, and he was trying to shame him, and he said basically called him broke. He basically was like, "Oh, you're there making your little money," and this cop could have like been gotten really nasty and everything. Do you know what this cop did? I wish I could find the video for y'all. Bro pulled out his phone, and said, "I want you to come and look at my bank account." I would never have done that myself. I would never have done this myself. But dude literally pulled out his phone, opened up his bank account, and he said, "What's that right there? That's $500,000. I have $500,000 in my bank account. Let's see how much money you have in yours." This was a police officer. This was a police officer on the street. This was not a detective. This was a police straight police officer, like beat cop. Dude pulled out his phone and said, "Look at this. I want you to see this right now. I have $500,000 in my bank account. How much money do you have in yours?" And the dude that was harassing him literally began to panic very quickly. He was frightened, like literally frightened. Like like at that point, if he hadn't calmed down, that's when he would have ended up being arrested. Dude was in shock and in shambles. Okay, he was in shock and in shambles because I keep the amount of money a man makes per year does not necessarily reflect what his net worth is. This is something that women are completely they don't understand. They don't comprehend this. This is one of the reasons why foreign women are smarter when it comes to assessing a man. They get to know the guy before they reject this man. They say, first off, they say, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much you make. So they get to know the man. They see where he lives. They see how he lives. They look at the car he's driving. They learn about his family. They get to know him. And then they can find out what he has, his lifestyle, his availability. They find out that, okay, yeah, he does this kind of work. He works remotely, but he owns his own home. And then they're like, "Oh, did you go to college?" "No, I actually didn't bother going to college. I did some coursework, gained skill sets on my own, and I worked remotely. I don't have any debt." So they're like, "Oh, wait, so he doesn't have any debt. So he probably has a good credit score, and he makes this amount of money, but he owns his own home. So if he owns his own home, and even if he's making only $50,000, but he owns his own home, he likely has a reasonable amount of disposable income." And so she starts listening to the different things that he does, and he starts talking about his interests and the different stocks that he invests in, his cryptocurrency. And she's like, "Okay, so this guy has crypto and stock investments, and he's able to work from anywhere in the world." So she's starting to put these things together and understand that, he's more than meets the eye. You cannot judge a man just by how much money he makes. But modern women, like I said, they're trying to meet men at the finish line. When you go overseas, women overseas, they're smarter because they know, like, instead of women give it up in a Western society, a woman will give it up right away to a Ray Pookie, Chadron, Brad, these types of low value men. However, when you're dealing with a foreign woman, a foreign woman will give it up right away to a man to a man that she's serious about, and then she'll begin trying to create as much value as possible in the relationship because she realizes that that's her way of securing this man. Showing him that, okay, making sure that his balls are empty and his belly is full. Those are the things that she has to focus on, and creating additional value. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWAM and walking away. And cheers.